Today I'm going to talk about a topic called persuasive listening, which is kind of an interesting dichotomy. Normally we think persuasive, we're thinking persuasion, you're using your tongue. Listening, we're using the ear. So what's going on here? The concept here is that we can use listening skills to become more persuasive. And about 20 years ago, I attended a listening skills seminar. And at that listening skills seminar, we were handed a little toolkit that allowed us to hopefully improve our listening skills. And it was very scientific. It was a stoplight. We normally think of people in either agreeing with us or disagreeing with us. And so in this seminar, we were taught there's a third state. You have people that are going to be resistant. They're not receptive. There are going to be people that have some trepidation but are listening. And you're going to have folks that are agreeable. Now, this was fairly early in my business career. This was, completely enlightening to me. There's 3 states. And not only are there 3 states, but there's some rules. Like, you're not going to get a person from red light to green light. You have to transition them to the yellow. And there's a process that you have to do that. The rule there is you will not get a person to move from red light to yellow light until they know that you know exactly what they mean. Until they're 100% comfortable that you understand where they're coming from, they're not going to start listening. Well, this was mind-blowing to me, okay? This is something to really work with. And I did. I walked away from that particular seminar saying that was the best session I ever had. It was only 30 minutes, but wow. And I took this forward, and I've been working with it for years now, unfortunately, more years than I'd like to admit. But this concept really has a lot of power to it. Because you can use this concept of understanding states and trying to move people to various states to become more persuasive and to avoid argument. So knowing that the rule is, to move from one stage to another, give you an example. I'll make up a scenario. So Sally and Bob, co-workers. Sally says, Bob, for 86 days in a row, we've gone to Subway for lunch. Can we please go next door to the Thai place? And Bob says, well, Thai food's very spicy. Spicy food makes me gassy. We can't do that, especially because we sit together. We don't want to do that. And Sally's like, really? But I'm sick of this. We can't do that. We just can't do it. Now, that's a scenario where Sally's walked away frustrated because all she's been able to do is spew her perspective, and Bob has spewed his perspective. And they haven't used that process as an opportunity for reconciliation. Had Sally not had the wisdom of the stoplight, Sally would have said, wait a second, I'm getting opposition to my idea of let's go someplace else for lunch. So where's Bob? The first thing I need to do when I have that opposition to my idea is I need to place the person. Where are they on this spectrum? Well, Bob's vehemently opposed to this. He's red. I'm not going to get him to start considering the next option until such time as he knows that I know exactly what he's feeling. And the way to do that is to mirror the response back to him. So if you mirror the response back to him, if Sally says, so spicy food is what's causing your gastric distress, he'll come back, yeah, it really causes me problems. Now he knows, she knows, and because she's been able to reiterate it to him. And so when she comes and says, well, what if they have non-spicy food on the menu? She's coming to him with this alternative from a position of caring. I've already stated to you, I understand your pain point. I understand your issue. And with that in mind, let's see if there's an alternative that we can make this a win-win. And suddenly, he's willing to listen to this notion because he understands she does get it. Okay, let's think about it. Yeah, if they have something not spicy, I might be willing to try the Thai food. 86 days, there's only so many permutations of 6-inch subs, right? It sounds good, let's vary it up. But it's that notion that you have to move the person from red to yellow before you're going to get them to green. And the only way to get them from red to yellow is for them to know that you know exactly what they mean. And we're not normally programmed to do that in such a specific way. We tend to do that by taking things on one at a time. We present an idea to a client, or we present an idea to our child, and they start coming back with their no reasons. And we try to knock them off one by one. Let's talk them through, one by one by one. There's a problem with that approach, and the problem is you think that you're making peace, but really you're adding confrontation into the whole mix. Because if I'm the person on the other side, and you've presented an idea to me, and I have some objections, I'm going to come back to you, and I'm going to say, well, item number 1, here's why not. I have 3 objections. Number 1, here's why. And you start knocking it down with overwhelming logic. Your idea is a great idea. Okay, you win on that one. Number 2, here's my next reason. And you come back with a great argument, and it's overwhelmingly logical. But at this point, from my perspective, I'm on the defensive. All of my ideas are losing merit. My thought process is being devaluated as we go through this. So the notion of mirroring back goes even one step further. And it is, let the person get all of their objections out first. Because then, what you've done is you said, your opinion really is important to me. And the input and the thought of how you've gotten to where you've got to is important to me, and it's valued. And now you're coming from a position of caring. And when you are coming from a position of caring, you start fostering trust. I know that you care about what I have to say and the value of what I'm telling you. Now I'm willing to listen to what you have to say because you have shown respect and valued my input and listened to what I have to say. And we normally try to iterate. And as consultants especially, we do this a lot, right? We sit there, and as the person is saying things, we're already starting to formulate responses. In fact, in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey says, most people don't listen to understand. Most people listen to reply. And that's what has to change. Because again, if everything I'm putting out, you're knocking them off as I'm getting there, by the end, it's not about reconciliation. It's I've been defeated. Everything I've put out there is just getting shot down. So if you let the person get all of that feedback out first, then circle back, they know you know where they're coming from. They're going to be much more willing to listen to the things that you have to say. And I'm not just making this up. There was an article actually came out in Psychology Today, October of 2013, that went through these type of things, and it got into the psychology of some of this persuasiveness. And it comes back to, I want my ideas heard. So we normally don't let that happen first. We're the smartest person in the room, or at least that's what they're paying us to be, so we have to get our version out first. If you show caring, you're going to build trust. And it's not just at work, it's on the home front, it's with loved ones, it's with family, friends, co-workers, clients. This idea of then, how do I handle somebody not buying into my idea. It becomes one of implication throughout all your life. It could be, hey, I'm a coder, and my code reviewers come back with suggestions that are different, or they don't agree with how I did things. Find out where they are. Where are they in this scale? Are you ready to start knocking off and really dialoguing about individual items? Are they yellow, or are they really opposed to what you did? If they're really opposed, don't start getting defensive. Let them get it all out, and then come back to them. Again, showing that caring value. This is something that's not normal to us. We're not triggered to do this. We're not wired to do this. We're wired throughout. There's a reason Stephen Covey has this quote about most people in his book. It's because that's how most people operate. And so when the business world is operating that way, we're responding to that. We're wired to it. What can differentiate us, though, is that caring. That caring will build that trust. And so as you're doing this, you have to make a conscious effort when somebody is not agreeing with your position about how you're going to do this. It's not easy, but it's a meaningful change, and it works. A great way to know whether you're in this position, I don't do it. I'd love to say I do it all the time. We all backslide, right? So how can you tell when you're needing to maybe do this? A good trigger is when you start feeling frustration. If you start feeling frustrated at the person on the other side, you're just not getting it. This is really, I feel like I'm beating. Take a second and think about our lowly stoplight. They're probably in the red. And you're probably trying to do the one-on-one knockoff thing. Take a step back. Let the whole thing come out from them. Because now, until that happens, they're really not listening to what you have to say yet. They're still busy trying to get their perspective out. This is a situation we deal with all the time. I have a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, 14-year-old. Believe me, I'm dealing with it all the time on the home front, where I'm trying to logically go through. There's a reason why, child 1 was able to spend 2 hours and 15 minutes on the computer, and I was only able to spend 2 hours and 8 minutes on the computer. Dad, this is not fair, right? You start having these type of debates, and a lot of times you want to start knocking off, and they're very passionate about these things. Well, when they get locked in, you're not getting it. Yeah, probably not. You know what? When I hear that, when somebody says that, I'm sensing frustration in the discussion. I do take the time and say, well, there's that frustration trigger. All right, give it to me all. And suddenly now that 14-year-old is a dad or a mom that's taking it all in. That's, valuing their input. That's I remember when I was 14, that was the fight, right? They don't listen, right? No, listen. And if you listen, and people know that you're listening from a caring perspective, you're going to get positive results. And you're going to establish a much, much deeper relationship, whether it's on work, whether it's at a client, whether it's with a teammate, or whether it's with friends and family. I'll give you one last live example. We're in the midst of it right now at Ruffalo Cody. Ruffalo, buddy. We had a lot of really smart people look at a lot of the systems they have. We came up with, they have some serious needs. And it's going to be expensive. It's a very large project. And we pitched it to them. And as we've been pitching it, the people we've been pitching it have been buying into the logic. And by the end, well, yeah, it all makes sense. Now we get it to, it's a large enough project that there needs to be board level approval. And the board comes back and says, we can't do that. And at first, it was like, well, what do you want to do? And they came up with some notion that clearly they don't get it. And we sensed, and right away I even had said it to one of the other folks on the team, this is getting frustrating. And as soon as the words came out of my mouth, I went back to my red light, and I realized I need to get back and get more input from them. Not try to beat it down. Get the input so that they know that we care. That's when you become a trusted advisor. Again, whether it's on a client basis, a teammate basis, or a personal basis. So when you find yourself in that position, here's a little tool I want you all to try. I think you're going to find that your ability to persuade others towards your point of view is going to be much more successful if you think about the lowly stoplight. That's it. Thanks.